I'm reading to you from Paper Genocide, the Legal Erasure of Indigenous People. Chapter 1, The Ancestral Vision, the Court of Queen Isabella, 1493. On a spring morning in 1493, I find myself within the grand throne room of Castile, not as a participant, but as an unseen witness through the eyes of my ancestor. Christopher Columbus kneels on the cold marble before Queen Isabella I, his travel-worn cloak spread around him. King Ferdinand sits behind her, but it is Isabella's face, curious, expectant, that holds Columbus's gaze. He has returned from across the ocean with tales of another world. In his hands, he clutches rolled parchments and golden trinkets from faraway islands. A hush settles among the assembled courtiers as the queen gestures for him to speak. Columbus rises just enough to meet Isabella's eyes, in a voice relevant and trembling with excitement. He recounts what he found beyond the sea. He describes islands of lush forest and people unlike any in Europe. They are so artless and so free with all they possess, he marvels, speaking of their generosity. Of anything they have, if you ask them for it, they never say no. Rather, they invite the person to share it and show as much love as if they were giving their hearts. A murmur of surprise ripples through the Spanish court. Such innocence and open-handed hospitality are beyond their experience. Isabella's eyebrows arch at this report of a gentle people in paradise. As Columbus speaks, two Taino islanders stand quietly off to the side, living proof of his discovery brought across the ocean. My ancestral spirit senses their presence keenly. Perhaps one of these dark-skinned youths is my forebearer, torn from home to be paraded in European courts. They wear simple cotton garments and try to understand the strange torrent of words echoing through the hall. Columbus turns slightly and gestures towards them as he describes their kinfolk. They do not bear arms and do not know them, he reports earnestly. For I showed them a sword. They took it by the edge and cut themselves out of ignorance. Gasps and whispers sweep the room. To the Spanish nobles, it is as if Columbus has met Adam and Eve in a new Eden. People innocent to steel and war, living in naivety. Queen Isabella glances at the young islanders with a mix of pity and fascination in her eyes. In her eyes, I catch a flicker of something else too, the calculation of a ruler hearing news of subjects who might one day owe her allegiance. Columbus' tone then shifts, pressing a hand to his chest as if confessing an unfortunate truth. He speaks gravely. Your Highness, they would make fine servants, should your Majesty command it. All the inhabitants could be taken away to Castile or made slaves on the island. With 50 men, we could subjugate them and make them do whatever we want. His words hang in the air, both praising the natives' gentle nature and betraying a blunt intent to dominate. In that moment, I feel a chill, the weight of centuries to come. Here in this gilded hall, the seeds of conquest and classification are being sown. Aboard the Santa Maria, 1492, first sight of the land. As Columbus continues his report, my vision blurs and shifts to an earlier scene, an ancestral memory within the memory. I am standing on the deck of the Santa Maria on the night of October 11, 1492. The ship creaks softly as it cuts through the gentle waves. Columbus and his crew keep anxious watch, lanterns swinging in the dark. They have been at sea for over 2 months, venturing into unknown oceans. A voice from the Pinta rings out, "Tierra, land!" The crew erupts into scrambling motion. Columbus rushes from his cabin. A Moorish navigator, one of the few experienced on board, offers Columbus a brass telescope. Raising it to his eye, Columbus gazes towards where the moonlight hits at a coastline. Through the imperfect glass, he sees a distant shore of silver sands and dark swaying palms. On that shore, figures are gathering, drawn by the sight of strange sails. By moon and torchlight, Columbus beholds the first inhabitants of the New World. Dios mío, people, he whispers. Copper-colored, mahogany-skinned men and women stand at the water's edge, some wading fearlessly into the surf. Their skin glows like polished brass in the torchlight, reminded Columbus of the Guanche people of the Canary Islands, the color of the Canarians. All around on deck is jubilation and disbelief. But Rodrigo de Triana, the lookout, who first spotted the flicker of a campfire on shore, is nearly beside himself with pride and wonder. The Moorish navigator murmurs a prayer in Arabic. Alhamdulillah. Thanks be to God. For a moment, Columbus remained silent, the telescope pressed to his eye. His journal later recorded that moment with solemn poetry, how he gave thanks to God and to Our Lady, tears in his eyes at the sight of land. Through Columbus's lens, the indigenous villages come into clearer view. Some carry fishing spears, others hold torches aloft. Their bodies are painted with streaks of black and red pigments. Rituals of welcome or warning, I do not know. I feel Columbus' mixture of awe and certainty. He sees gentle, unarmed souls. At the same time, the seeds of an empire. Turning to his officers, Columbus proclaims, in the name of God, we have found a new world. The men around him cheer. Flags are unfurled, bearing the royal standard of Castilla, ready to be planted at first light. Above, the stars wheel in their courses, indifferent to the fates being sealed below. The weight of lineage. The visions faded, and I awakened as myself, a descendant looking back through time, surrounded by historical documents strewn across a desk. Before me are copies of Columbus's letters, transcripts of royal decrees, and English legal treaties. As a descendant of these, once labeled and classified by imperial decree, I feel the weight of every name and category imposed upon my ancestors. The Taino youth at court given a Christian name and treated as living curiosity. This child in a colony branded a mulatto and denied his father's property. Entire tribes defined as savages or wards under the law. Their lands forfeit to empire. All these threads run through me. My family lore says we have Indigenous American Indian blood, Muskogee Creek, true old world tapestry. And with each generation, the powers that be have reclassified us. Standing here now, I close my eyes and let the lessons of this chapter settle. Columbus kneeling, oath in 1493, and the colonial laws that followed might seem unrelated, separated by ocean and culture, yet in my lineage they converge. From the moment of first contact through the evolution of colonial law, the identity of people like me was debated, defined, and redefined. The first chapter of this journey closes with a quiet understanding. My ancestral memory and the documents of history speak in unison. They urge me to remember how identity, legal and cultural, can be a weapon or a shield. In the flicker of Columbus' ambition, I have seen the overture of a grand reclassification, one that would span continents and centuries. Now, with pen in my own hand, I began to write it all down, determined to illuminate how, despite everything, we remain human and whole, defying the names we were given.